Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences, and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we are commemorating World Radio Day on every February 13th of every year. We celebrate World Radio Day. This year, the theme for World Radio Day 2024 is Radio, a Century of Information, Entertainment, and Education. Celebrating radio's rich past, ongoing relevance, and promising future is the topic chosen by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, to mark World Radio 2024 on 13th February 2024. On this World Radio Day, we celebrate not only the history of radio, but also its central role in our societies now and in the years to come, as quoted by Audrey Azoulay, Director General of UNESCO. With radio having crossed the 100-year milestone, it is a significant occasion to commemorate the medium's extensive virtues and continuing potency. However, radio faces challenges to its audience and revenue numbers from digital platforms, social media, digital and generational divides, censorship, consolidations, and economic hardships. At the special and pivotal point in its century-long journey, UNESCO invites the global radio industry in all its many forms, commercial, public, and non-profit, to join this global celebration of the medium. Anticipating the next century of radio, the 2024 observance highlights the history of radio and its powerful impact on news, drama, music, and sports. It also recognizes the ongoing practical value as a portable public safety net during emergencies and power outages caused by natural and human-made disasters such as storms, earthquakes, floods, heat, wildfires, accidents, and warfare. Furthermore, the continuing democratic value of radio is to serve as a grassroots catalyst for connectedness within underserved groups, including immigrants, religious, minority, and poverty-stricken populations. Get involved in World Radio Day. Broadcasters are encouraged to bring their own culture, style, and sensibilities to their celebrations leading up to and during the 13th February event. World Radio Day is an excellent opportunity for radio stations to connect with the fellow broadcasters worldwide, and UNESCO invites them to take initiative for such broadcast. UNESCO provides your station network or show with a list of radio stations around the world willing to participate in programming partnerships with their colleagues in other countries. You can schedule interviews, conversations, either live or pre recorded, with your broadcasting colleagues around the world to compare the history and role of radio in their respective countries on or leading up to 13th February. Proclaimed in 2011 by the member states of UNESCO and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly via Resolution 67 by 124 in 2012 as an international day, February 13 became World Radio Day, in short known as WRD. Radio is a powerful medium for celebrating humanity in all its diversity and constitutes a platform for democratic discourse. At the global level, radio remains the most widely consumed medium. This unique ability to reach out the widest audience means radio can shape a society's experience of diversity, stand as an arena for all voices to speak out, be represented and heard. Radio stations should see diverse communities offering a wide variety of programs, viewpoints, and content, and reflect the diversity of audiences in their organizations and operations. Radio is the lowest and low cost medium specifically suited to reaching remote communities and vulnerable people, offering a platform to intervene in the public debate irrespective of people educational level. It also plays a crucial role in emergency communications and disaster relief. Radio is uniquely positioned to bring communities together and foster positive dialogue over for change. By listening to its audiences and responding to their needs, radio service provided radio services provide the diversity of views and voices needed to address the challenge of and the challenges we all face. The United Nations Audiovisual Library presents UN Radio Classics, an online archive of documentary and dramatic programs starring Audrey Hepburn, Kirk Douglas, and Bing Crosby, among many others. These programs, available free of charge with digitally remastered sound, offer a unique way of experiencing key historical moments of the United Nations and of the world throughout the second half of the 20th century. Various UN audio programs include News in Brief, interviews, The Lid is On, UN Complicated, Podcast Classics, Amplify Her, Podcast No Denying It, Podcast Uniting Against Hate, Podcast, and so on. In the era marked by dizzying speed of technological innovation and the rapid absence of one shiny new platform after another, radio is beginning its second century of service as one of the most dependable and widely utilized forms of media in the world. Proclaimed in 2011 by the member states of UNESCO and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012 as an UN International Day, February 13th became World Radio Day, in short known as WRD. Radio as a technology, science, means of communications, and system of programming. Audio elements has roots all the way back to 1800s. So it can be safely said that the medium is already well into second century. World Radio's Day theme in 2024 shines a broader floodlight on radio's remarkable past, relevant, present, and promise of a dynamic future. The opportunity provided by the 100-year plus milestone of radio begs to be primed at full volume. The century is an occasion to proudly celebrate the medium's extensive virtues and ongoing potential. It comes at an opportune time as radio, though statistically popular and enormously trusted by the public, faces increased challenges to audience and revenue numbers from digital platforms, pervasive social media, digital and generational divides. The headwinds of censorship and for some media, stiffing consolidation, induced debt, as well as economic hardships exacerbated by a soft advertising market. UNESCO invites the worldwide radio industry in all its many forms, commercial, public, non-profit, to join this global celebration of the medium at this special and pivotal juncture in the century spanning journey. The 2024 observance highlights the indelible history of radio and its powerful impact upon news, drama, music, sports, and so on. The ongoing utilitarian value of radio as a relatively free and portable public safety net during emergencies and power outrages brought on by natural and human made disasters such as storms, earthquakes, floods, heat, wildfires, accidents, and warfare. The continuing democratic value of radio to serve as a grassroots catalyst for connectedness with undeserved groups, including immigrant, religious minority, and poverty stricken populations, and as an instantaneous bellwether of public opinion expressed through the auspice of free speech in the public space. UNESCO recognizes and understands the tremendous variety of business models and technological architecture in radio around the world, as well as the independent nature of its companies and organizations. Large and small, plus the idiosyncrasies of its on air personalities. Thus, broadcasters are encouraged to bring their own culture and style and sensibilities to their individual celebrations leading up to and during the February 13th event. World Radio Day is also an opportunity for radio stations to connect on air with fellow broadcasters around the world. UNESCO invites radio stations to take the initiative for such broadcast. It's a remarkable achievement for a major mass communication medium to continue its relevance past 100 years and still be a force for freedom of expression, joy, knowledge, and we proudly tell its story. And let's welcome radio's future in the next century. Today, we are also celebrating various other commemorations. Today we are also commemorating World AG Expo Day, Safer Internet Day, International Natural Day, International Condom Day, Extraterrestrial Culture Day, and also various other commemorations. So let's look into each of these commemorations quickly. Today is also commemorated as Angola Carnival Day in Angola, which is an annual celebration that typically falls on Tuesday before Ash Wednesday in a 3-day calendar of events. This year it is from 15th, the carnival, a top, as today is Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. A top of attraction to tourists proudly takes a seat as one of the southern African nations' most anticipated events. There are glamorous costumes and vibrant colors. Participants are embraced by nature, dancing without a care in the world. They will find a refreshing dose of nature and glorious parade to go with it. The tradition amazingly dates back to when it was a Portuguese colony. Angola Carnival Day takes its roots from Carnival Tuesday, is also known as Shrove Tuesday or Fat Tuesday, is a movable event that picks its date depending on Easter. Usually it is on Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent, an official public holiday. It is observed in countries such as Portugal, Brazil, Angola, Cape Verde, Haiti, Venezuela, and Uruguay, amongst others. Fat Tuesday, also known as Mardi Gras in French, is so called because it's day that affords the luxury to eat all kinds of food forbidden during the Lent fast, which kicks off the next day, Ash Wednesday. While general modern day usage associates the word carnival with fun and elaborate glamour, the word carnival traces its roots to the late Latin expression carni levere, translated to mean remove meat. Fat Tuesday's origin links back to ancient Rome and a festival from 133 to 31 BC, held in the honor of deities Lupercalia and Saturnalia. It was adopted by Christians upon arrival in Rome. Luanda, the capital of Angola, was at a time named the world's most expensive city by Mercer's annual cost of living index. It's not expensive for expats, but for locals, the reality of the aftermath of the Civil War, 1975 to 2002, has been gripping poverty. This is true even with the country boasting of Africa's second largest oil reserves, rich agriculture, and diamonds, among most other treasures. The streets of Luanda, Angola, come alive during the carnival with her people alongside thousands of spectators, budding with contagious excitement. They put on a proud showcase of culture, incorporating art, music, dance, and parades, and crowned with lots of delicious fares to make the heart merry. Although there are several languages, Portuguese is the official language, borrowing from its colonial master, which Angolans speak. Other languages include Kikongo, Udzivambo, Kimbundi, Chokwi, Lunda are also spoken. Angolans love to party and celebrations involve around art, music, and religion. With colors, drinks, a day off, and a Brazilian style event, Carnival lives up to its reputation as the biggest holiday in Angola. According to Mercer's latest rankings in 2020, it is now at number 115 on its worldwide cost of living survey, and it is a way cheaper than imagined. The Brazilian style carnival is highly anticipated and comes tops in the country's calendar. Lots of tourists and spectators, including the president and his cabinet members, gather at the extravagant affair, where groups are led by a carnival king or queen. Africa's second largest waterfall, Calendula Falls, known formerly as Duque de Branca Falls, giant sable antelope, and more attractions are endemic to Angola. Carnivals are fun ways to get people to love and cherish their rich traditional heritage. It can be passed from generation to generation. Attending or studying carnivals in different parts of the world help broaden our knowledge of other worlds, keeping us open to different perspectives and belief systems. With an understanding of different people and cultures community, carnivals offered us with this opportunity, thereby uniting this world. Today is also commemorated as Black Love Day in United States, which was created to demonstrate love, forgiveness, and acceptance among Black people. Ayohandi Kendi, the founder of African American Holiday Association, received inspiration to celebrate the day in 1993 after watching a movie where a Black man was murdered by other Black people. She decided to take action to promote peace and speak out against violence by creating the day, which has now expanded to include other races. In January 1993, Handy Kendi watched Malcolm X shot down by other Black people and was particularly moved by the incident. As she sat alone on a bus on her way back home, her thoughts drifted to what she could do to stop the violence and engender peace. Recalling that moment, Handy Kendi said, I heard the Creator say to me that we need more Black love. This was inspired her to celebrate the Black Love Day in February that year. After losing her son to an act of violence, she celebrated the day once again the following year. In an interview with the Daily Dot, Handy Kendi explained how the day was to be celebrated. Said she, we encourage people on this day to do something very simple. Just demonstrate love for 24 hours and celebrate and atone, offer forgiveness to ourselves and to others, and to accept the very important tenets, what we call the five Black love tenets. People are also encouraged to greet one another with Nya Akoma, a phrase that means get a heart or to be patient. The celebrations have now expanded to include white people to show love in action or Black Love Day, thanks to a suggestion made by Handy Kendi's significant other. This inclusivity was needed so that both blacks and whites could heal their relationships and return to the love. This necessitated that the whites examine their white privilege and racial attitudes. Today, on social media, Black Love Day has become a popular hashtag, thereby helping to spread more awareness about the day. Today is also commemorated as Brazilian Carnival in Brazil, which is celebrated on Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, and the date falls on 13th. The carnival is marked by colorful costumes, samba music and dance, grand parades, and food festivals. It is a perfect opportunity to engage in overindulgence before starting the period of lunch. The carnival depicts different cultures, primarily Portuguese and African. A lot of tourists from all around the globe are eager to experience the world's biggest carnival. Brazilian carnival fills the atmosphere of Brazil with joy, enthusiasm, and amusement. Brazilian carnival is a perfect blend of various cultures. The word carnival comes from the Latin words carn for flesh and lavare for put away. The first ever pre-Lent carnival was held in Italy. Carnival signals the start of the Christian 40-day period of abstinence, commonly called Lent. The observance of these carnivals spread to France, Spain, and other European countries. It further spread to America, from where it reached Brazil. Brazilians added the parade and samba music to it and turned it into a wild party with lots of extravagant fruits. The first ever Brazilian carnival dates back to 1641 when Portuguese immigrants threw water at each other to celebrate Dom Joao's coronation as the King of Portugal. The influence of African culture can be seen greatly in the Brazilian carnival. During Portuguese rule, African slavery affected the celebrations of the carnival. In fact, all the traditional costumes that can be seen during the carnival are inspired by the African slaves. The carnival is characterized by a special dance and music known as samba. The Angolan slaves shared their love for samba, and from then on, it became an integral part of the carnival. The popularity of samba reached its peak in 1920 when the samba schools were established in Brazil in 1932. And first ever samba school parade took place. Now the Samba Dome is the main attraction of the carnival where 13 top samba schools perform. It is a large venue that can host almost 90,000 people. Brazilian Carnival is the largest carnival in the world with jaw-dropping performances. Today is also commemorated as Canada's Agricultural Day in Canada. And those deliciously excited to celebrate the best way possible by eating good agricultural products and acknowledging farmers. Canada is the fifth largest exporter of agricultural and agri-product food in the world. This alone makes Canada Agricultural Day unique and so important that everyone who consumes agricultural products allows us to celebrate the farmers who produce them. Agriculture is an important venture and that the industry that holds a lot of significance everywhere in the world. It is what allows humanity to function and keep growing and to be able to focus on another aspects of life as it may be. The history of agriculture stretches back to the time of early man when life was brutish and short. Humans at that time probably found that eating fruits and throwing the seeds on the ground made them germinate if they met certain conditions. And they began to plant these seeds in areas around their settlement to make them sprout so that they would go far to look for their food later. Since then, agriculture has evolved greatly thanks to the different types of machinery and revolutionary scientific methods. Canada Agriculture Day is an initiative of agricultural more than ever, an agricultural cause with thousands of partners and advocates. It is a day to celebrate Canadian agriculture, consumers, and farmers, and engage in conversations about improving Canadian agriculture. Today is also commemorated as Desperation Day in US, which is celebrated on February 13th every year, and it was created by TV anchor Barney Stinson so as a day on which singles desperately try to find a Valentine's Day date. Desperation Day is the 16th episode of season 6 of American sitcom How I Met Your Mother. Close to Valentine's Eve, the character Lily mentions that she is lonely because her partner, Marshall, is away living with his mother. She talks about how specifically lonely she is, seeing as Valentine's Day is approaching. Eventually, Lily travels down to convince her partner to return for Valentine's Day. Concurrently, two other characters, Ted and Zoe, are happily dating through, though they have agreed to take things slow. Zoe invites Ted to help bake cookies one night, and when he describes the situation to the rest of the pack as weird, They tell him he's being asked to spend the night. Ted is eventually sent home by his girlfriend for being presumptuous. On February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, Zoe apologizes and tells Ted she is ready to get serious. Ted, however, withdraws due to anxiety and pressure. He soon joins Marshall. Desperation Day, despite its fictitious nature, highlights a current problem in the society today. The problem is that of loneliness, neediness, and the desperation that comes with it. Especially when one reaches a certain age, loneliness is an unpleasant emotional response to perceived isolation. There are various causes of loneliness, some of which include a lack of meaningful relationships, a significant loss, and the like. Research has shown that loneliness is a common feature of society. Most humans have or will experience. It is the loneliness that can be attributed as the root cause of desperation and the struggle for people with no romantic bond to become seemingly obsessed with the finding and settling down with a romantic partner. Valentine's Day usually comprises a display of the beauty of love in all its forms, and it could be such a drag for people who are uninvolved in romantic relationships to bear with such displays, affecting between other people while having no one no one to share such moments with themselves. There is also commemorated as Dream Your Sweet Day in US. A day before Valentine's Day, people spend this day thinking about their sweetheart and preparing for the oncoming Valentine's Day. This day may be celebrated alone or with your partner, where you can plan what gifts to give each other and how you will celebrate the day. Then you keep thinking about them as you fall asleep, or you can dream about them. Today is also commemorated as Equator Carnival Day in Ecuador, which is also known as Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday in the US, which takes place on the last Tuesday after Lent in February or early March. This year it takes place on February 13th. This holiday has religious origins and traditions. It is considered to be a Christian holiday to indulge in life. It occurs just before the season of Lent. It serves as a remembrance of the suffering of Jesus on the cross. These are unique traditions that mingle indigenous celebrations with the Catholic roots of Carnival. The traditions differ in some towns, especially the ones with large indigenous populations. The Equator Carnival celebrations are part of indigenous beliefs and practices in Quran. Today is also commemorated as Employee Legal Awareness Day internationally. It is all about your rights as an employee. As Australian lawyer named Paul Brennan established its way to create awareness of the legal problems to the employees and small businesses, reduce risk of them through legal education. The day encourages still employees to be aware of their employment rights as well as the day encourages all employees to be aware of their employment rights as well as companies' policies provided with Today is also commemorated as Employee Legal Awareness Day on February 13th. It's all about your rights as an employee. An Austrian lawyer named Paul Brennan established this day to decorate awareness of the legal problems to the employees and small businesses and to reduce risk of them throughout the legal education. The day The day encourages all employees to be aware of their employment rights as well as company policies provided in your employer's hand. Today is also commemorated as Extraterrestrial Culture Day on February 13th. It is celebrated on second Tuesday of February and takes place on February 13th. This year, Today is also commemorated as Qatar Sports Day. Which is celebrated on second Tuesday in February. This holiday was started by the government of Qatar upon realizing that the modern lifestyle doesn't leave much room for getting fit. This celebration aims to promote a healthy lifestyle and encourage everyone to undertake some form of exercise. Every day, National Sports Day is a public holiday in Qatar where schools, businesses, shops, and offices are closed for the day. Citizens celebrate the day by playing sports, exercising, and encouraging each other to lead a more healthy lifestyle. The day has been proclaimed by the Deputy Emir of Qatar, His Holiness Sheikh Tamim bin Ahmed Al Thani, in December 2011. The Sheikh declared that every year on second Tuesday of February, National Sports Day would be observed. On this day, a vast number of government ministries and private organizations encourage their employees to participate in a series of sporting events organized by them. Participants can indulge a range of sport activities from the football and basketball to tennis and taekwondo, events such as cycling, swimming, and countless free sporting sessions and social competitions, and made available to everyone. National Sports Day Qatar is an inclusive event where people of all ages and abilities are allowed to participate in sports. Apart from this, events featuring several well known sports, Qatari culture is not forgotten on National Sports Day. Today is also commemorated as Safer Internet Day. These days, you can almost do anything on the internet. You can play games, connect with friends, purchase the new outfit you would think you need it, but now, no, you do. It's an extraordinary feeling to have an infinite amount of access to information and entertainment at your fingertips. The World Wide Web has come a long way from Yahoo GeoCities and the YouGot mail of yesteryear. On February 30, we acknowledge that these vast developments and difficulties that may come with these changes by observing safer internet. Every year, nonprofit connectsafely.org holds a large conference promoting internet awareness for numerous age groups. In past, representatives for Microsoft, Facebook, Google, and more have hosted panel discussions, musicians, and speaking events. This day-long event aims to make internet a better place for the diverse group of users. If you can't attend a conference, don't fret. Discussing ways to make an internet a better and safer place for people is an important step in progress towards using the World Wide Web in a responsible manner. Talking with older and younger generations alike helps articulate fears and hopes for the future and establish a goal for proper internet etiquette. Just because you're skilled in the art of using internet doesn't mean you know everything about it. Read the myriad of material that the Safe Internet Day supporting websites provide for children and adults alike. The resources are informative and helpful in understanding the different obstacles that a present-day internet users grapples with every time they open a new browser. Thousands of new websites are created each day with the amount of new content generated. It's most important to be aware of the ever-changing landscape of the internet. Awareness on the evolving space should be a top priority for adults and children. Safer Internet Day is a day that is recognized in almost 130 countries, from the United States to the United Kingdom, from Poland to Panama. These countries and many in between all have their own way of observing this important. Students, teachers, and parents are in the only groups that care about Safer Internet Day. Global brands understand the importance of keeping the World Wide Web safe. Users as well. Facebook, Google, Twitter, and all committed to supporting a better and safer internet. Yeah, sorry, I was in a call. Okay, so today is also commemorated as Self-Love Day in United States. It is an annual celebration to appreciate and understand the importance of self-love. Self-love is one of the most powerful forms of love. It is something that we all have coded inside us. Proponents of self-love believe that it could strengthen a person's feeling of being loved. The date coincides with Valentine's Week and is celebrated so that people can be strong enough to love themselves by the next day and not need a romantic partner on February 14th. So most people find it easy to do so, but most people are afraid to admit it. Some people consider left love to be selfish. That is not true at all. Selfishness stems from the idea that others shouldn't have it. Whereas self love means trying your best to have the best. Self love is a strong trait that can help you succeed in life. Self love is not a new concept, it is an extensively debated topic all over the world. In ancient Greece, self love was considered one of the six types of love. It is also discussed by six Christian theologians, philosophers, and psychologists. However, self love first entered the mainstream psyche and popular culture during the Beat generation of the 1950s and the hippie era of 1960s. Popular literature and poems have since discussed the topic in depth. It has even helped minorities to develop their self confidence in a society with predominantly white beauty standards in the 1970s. Self Love Day is all about understanding the power of self love and the positive impact it can have on our lives. It can help boost our confidence and courage. It can also help us analyze situations calmly and react as if there is a little more to a person who loves themselves and worries about what others might think. Today is also commemorated as Travel Africa Day in Central African Republic, an informal promotional holiday event launched by Social Media Week Lagos. The third or fourth Tuesday of February this year it takes place. The day aims to create awareness and promote travel in African continent. The event showcases the African continent as a travel destination, highlighting Africa's wildlife and rich cultures. Travel Africa Day offers information panels and consultations by travel bloggers and companies. The information provided covers the financial and aesthetic aspects of travel in Africa. The day forms part of Social Media Week annual event attracts change makers from various African countries. In 2016, Social Media Week SMW Lagos launched Travel Africa Day in Lagos, Nigeria. The Travel Africa Day event is held on Tuesday on the 5-day conference in Lagos. Dragon Africa and Africa 21 curate Social Media Week Lagos. It is one of the largest tech events in Africa. The Travel Africa Day held in 2016 was hosted by Amara Suits, Africa 21, and Ryan. The event trended with hashtag Travel Africa Day. The focus of Travel Africa is to promote travel and tourism to cities and countries across the continent of Africa and celebrate the African experience. Travel Africa Day uses multiple social media platforms to promote Africa as a continent and expand conversations about travel across and within Africa. It also highlights the potential for travel to become a revenue source for all 54 countries on the continent. The success of the first global event across Africa in 2016 gathered the interest and attention of sponsors such as Facebook and Nest. The 2016 SMW event alone boasted over 60,000 participants and a social media reach of 810 million. A little over 5 years have passed since SMW Lagos launched Travel Africa Day. Significant progress in promoting travel within Africa have been made at travel destinations such as Kenya, Egypt, and Seychelles, to name a few, are some of the growing hotspots for tourists in Africa. Africa is a perfect destination for adventure, gorgeous landscapes, and wildlife. So go ahead, pack your bags, and head to exciting Africa. Today is also commemorated as Valentine's Day. As in the West, February truly is the month of love, and Valentine's Day to quickly shower our significant others with gifts and treats on February 14th. But the day prior was designated to celebrate other equally important relationships our lives. So it's a time to bring together the ladies in your life to love most. So the female friendships so heavily rely on the celebrated each year on Valentine's Day on February 13th, originating from the popular TV show Parks and Recreation. The holiday is all about declaring love and affection of the girls to the to the girls who make up our support system. So today is also commemorated as Get a Different Name Day, when the famous adage, what's in a name matters. When we are born, our parents enthusiastically give us names that they most connect with. However, many times we get an urge to change our name. This day is a perfect opportunity in the West, especially in US, to do just that. You can actually change your legal name if it hasn't been on the cards or if you don't want to. You can just do it for fun on all your social media accounts for the day to tell your friends and family that you won't respond to any other name than your new chosen name for the day. Today is also commemorated as International Condom Day. It is celebrated one day before Valentine's Day. The day is a fun, tongue-in-cheek way of reminding people to practice safety when being intimate with their partners. The day was set up to remind people with condoms are one of the best ways to protect themselves not only from unwanted pregnancies, but sexually transmitted diseases as well. There are variations of the condom so that they can be used everywhere, regardless of the gender. Proper usage reduces risk of diseases like gonorrhea, chlamydia, and HIV and AIDS, among others, STIs and STDs, including HIV/AIDS. International Condom Day is celebrated on February 13th every year. Before Valentine's Day is an effort to remind people that the condom is one of the best, most convenient ways of preventing pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases. Condoms function by forming a physical barrier that prevents ejaculated semen from penetrating partner from entering the body of the penetrated partner. Modern condoms are primarily made of latex, especially the ones for men. However, non-latex condoms made of polyurethane also exist. These can be used by men suffering from latex allergies. Condoms designed to be used by women also exist, and these are primarily made of polyurethane. Male condoms are easily available, affordable, and easy to use. This makes them the most commonly used method of contraception after female sterilization. Used correctly, condoms prevent about 98% of pregnancies. However, since the majority of the people do not use condoms properly, this drops the pregnancy prevention rate to about 80 to 90% of pregnancies. Condoms are also highly recommended to reduce the transmission of STDs. It has contributed significantly to the reduction of the infection rate for STDs like AIDS, genital herpes, chlamydia, and gonorrhea, which are most common of STDs. Condoms are not perfect, but the greatest risk that results in infections is inconsistent usage of condoms. So the early usage of condoms, the history of contraceptive technology suggests that the condoms have been used as a contraceptive device since the mid 1500s in around 1564. After the discovery of rubber vulcanization in the 1830s, rubber condoms are developed for use by men in 1855. By suspending rubber in water, latex is developed and the material is soon replaced by rubber in the production of condoms in 1920s. The modern female condom is developed by Lassie Hazel, a Danish MD, and approved by the FDA in 1994. A female condom is called an internal condom. Condoms prevent pregnancies in anything between 82 to 98% of the cases, depending on how well they are used. The AIDS Healthcare Foundation organizes fun shows that center around safe sex on International Condom Day. Head over to one of these free shows for a great time by visiting AHF shows. Rates of condom sales are the highest in the East and Southeast Asia, North America, and Europe. It is the most common method of contraception in these regions. Up to 9 billion yearly condom sales happen in this area. In the penetrating partner, if the penetrating partner is wearing a condom, then an internal condom shouldn't be used because the two condoms can stick together. So only one partner should wear a condom. Latex replaced rubber as a material for condoms because it was cheaper and easier to make. AHF's International Condom Day celebrates involved shows, education, and thousands of condoms handed out for free. It is also considered an essential medicine. The condom is on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines, a list of medications that is considered the most effective, safe, and necessary in a medical system. AHF shows on International Condom Day are always well done, and we love to do part of it. And also, we love the shows around safe sex are all free. And condoms are a great way of preventing STDs, including HIV/AIDS. We want to make sure that no one has to suffer unnecessarily by encouraging everyone to practice safe sex. Today is also commemorated as International Natural Day, a day before Valentine's Day to remind your love to yourself without seeking affirmation from anybody else. Also called as International Day of Self-Love, it is celebrated to dilute the emphasis of conformance to society's expectation. It is a day to remind everyone that you ought to love yourself because you are beautiful in your every own unique way. So on this day, clap your hands and raise a toast for the most important and beautiful person in your life, that is you. Often we feel the pressure of conforming to the popular or common notion of beauty to earn the appreciation, love, and approval of people around us. Culturally, we attach much more importance to getting love from others, forgetting that our most important relationship is with ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, nobody will find us worthy of being loved. If we keep degenerating ourselves, we may end up sabotaging our lives and relationships. Apart from toxic relationships, it could result in a substance abuse, self deprecatory behavior, workaholism, extreme guilt, and low self esteem. Also called as International Day of Self Love. International Natural Day is celebrated on February 13th every year to encourage individuals with insecurities and uncertainties to shed their self doubts and celebrate themselves unconditionally. Sarah Jivani, founder and CEO of Love Your Natural Self Foundation, spurred on a personal event created by the day and her foundation. In grade 7, Jivani was horrified when one morning she found almost all her hair on her pillow. A condition called alopecia universalis resulted in her losing all her hair. She lost all her hair and with it, her self-esteem. Her appearance provoked ridicule and bullying from people around her. It fed her insecurities and sent her on a spiraling cycle of self-hatred. Giovanni realized that demonizing herself was not helping and started to repair her self-image by redefining her parameters of beauty. She kept reminding herself that she was beautiful in her own way, for which she did not need any confirmation from society. So, International Natural Day is next stride in Giovanni's journey to help others acknowledge their natural beauty. The day urges you to strengthen your self esteem and acknowledge the innate beauty within and around you. Today is also commemorated as Mardi Gras in US, arguably one of the best celebrations in the world. The origins of Mardi Gras link back to pagan celebrations of the arrival of spring and fertility, such as Roman festivals of Saturnalia that celebrated the same and that of Lupercalia, which was also characterized by banqueting and merrymaking. It stretches from 12th fifth night, the last night of Christmas, all the way until Ash Wednesday. Mardi Gras is a French for Fat Tuesday to reflect the practice of eating rich, fatty foods before the ritual fasting of the Lenten season. It's also a time to bring out those colorful beads and masks and party. The celebrations goes on in many parts of the world in various forms. Today is also commemorated as Kiss Day, that is a day before Valentine's Day. It is part of Valentine's Week celebrations. There are many types of kisses, and it is easiest way to communicate your love for someone, which is in which kissing is culturally acceptable. You may give a friend a quick friendly peck on cheek or enjoy a long passionate smooch with your partner. Kiss Day celebrates the affection between people and role of kisses in cultures across the world. Celebrate Kiss Day the way it is meant to be celebrated with pecks and kisses, but a word of caution, not everywhere and by everyone kisses are appreciated. So before approaching, make sure it is acceptable. Just like a picture can say more than 1,000 words, a kiss can express what more than 1,000 words may not be able to in a tender relationship. When you kiss a person with love, whether a peck or on the cheek or a air kiss with cheeks pressed together or a fully blown French kiss, it is a perfect way to represent your care and affection in the West. Kissing has played an important role in the West in social bonding and converting affection without having to say anything. Nowadays, most people spend their time in the front of a screen and people are becoming lonelier. A kiss might be all that we need to bridge the gaps that have emerged from our busy lifestyles. Through air kiss or so. Today is also commemorated as National Apology Day in Australia, commemorating first ever national apology made by the Prime Minister Kevin Rudd in 2008 to initialize the Australian federal government's rehabilitation, justice and reconciliation agenda for the indigenous Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders and tens of thousands of Aboriginal children who were forcibly removed from their families during Australia's assimilation era. National Apology Day remembers the official apology to the children and families traumatized by the past forced child removal and assimilation government policies in 20th century Australia. Although somewhat related, this annual commemorations is quite different from the National Sorry Day or the National Day of Healing, which is national event that has been held every year in Australia. on May 26 since 1990. National Sorry Day marks the initial tabling of bringing them home report in Australian Parliament. The report was the result of 1995 inquiry by the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission into the government policies and practices between 1910 and the 1970s, which forcefully separated many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children from their families to assimilate them into white Australian culture. The affected children, known as the stolen generations, estimated to be 10% to 33% of all indigenous children between 1910 and 1970s, suffered significant abuse and trauma, and they had to live under harsh conditions and abusive treatment and were compelled to reject their indigenous heritage. Until today, many victims are still coming to the terms with the trauma they experienced. The Bringing Them Home report also made actionable recommendations for addressing past wrongs, including the issuance of formal apologies by the state and federal governments and the provision of funding to rehabilitate the victims. Today is also commemorated as National Break Up with Your Carrier Day in US, and it is dedicated to helping more people get the best from their mobile network providers. It serves to make sure that people who are unhappy with their current service can find better options. Nobody wants to have a slow network or bad reception. We live in times when everything is happening in a real time and everyone deserves good internet service. So go on and say goodbye to your service provider. They are not meeting your expectations. There are so many mobile network providers to choose from. National Breakup with Your Carrier Day is a holiday that is observed on February 13th, and it was first celebrated in 2019. The idea for the holiday came from the popular carrier called T-Mobile. The date was chosen to fall just before Valentine's Day. The carrier wanted people to know that they could find a mobile service that they love. It also wanted to encourage communication between loved ones. With better mobile service, people can share moments with their loved ones who might be far away. The patent for the first wireless telephone was issued in 1908. By the 1940s, mobile phones had been invented. Cells for mobile phone base stations were invented by the engineers working at AT&T. The earliest mobile phones were two-way radios. They allowed people like taxi drivers and emergency services to communicate. The first handheld mobile phone was mass-produced by Motorola in 1973. These older mobile phones are now called zero-G mobile phones. They are also referred to as zero-generation mobile phones. These days, most modern mobile phones use 3G or 4G or 5G mobile technology. These networks allow people to browse the internet on their phones, making information more accessible. Today is also commemorated as National Cheddar Day in US. A very cheesy day, National Cheddar Day, is annually celebrated on February 13th, created by the Tillamook County Creamy Corporation, celebrating the amazing cheese type called cheddar and its edible products. Cheddar cheese hails from the actual city of Cheddar in Somerset, South England. Cheddar cheese accounts for more than a third of all cheese sold in United States and is a top choice in most cheese selections. It's a unique for the peculiar way it's made and hails from England. Today is also commemorated as National Crab Rangoon Day in US. It is an unofficial holiday created by a group of Bostonian friends named Sarah White, Cara Sweeney, and Kristin Ostrom. Fixed on the day before Valentine's Day, the day encourages friends to celebrate together. For those without significant others, the day helps to get rid of feelings of sadness and depression often felt by single people on Cupid's Day. National Crab Rangoon Day is all about friendship and fun together. So celebrate your favorite people on this one of a kind holiday. Eat a scrumptious meal of crab rangoon to mark the special day. Make it a date and invite your close friends to share the fun. A National Crab Rangoon Day provides a great bonding opportunity. Today is also commemorated as National Internet Friends Day in US. Internet friendships have become an important source of interaction for children and adults around the world as life gets busier. Internet friendships have become a natural extension of people's need for connections. While a lot of people have managed to make friends with their mutuals on social media sites, it is frequently in smaller groups like group chats, Discord servers, and dashboards that people make friends. Online relationships are similar to and just as important as in-person relationships. These relationships last just as long as friendships made offline. Much like in person relationships, online friendships are built by spending time together and doing things that everyone can bond over. People mostly start talking to each other online based on common interests. These conversations may wane over time if the people find they have nothing else in common. Sometimes the conversations continue and people build relationships that can last for years. Internet friendships can also refer to friendships that started in person but have a maintained online because someone had to relocate in the fast changing world. Where people relocate or travel, online friendships are the norm. Staying connected online allows people to maintain a connection with friends that they cannot see often. The suspicions around the internet friendships are due to internet predators that have bad intentions. These predators attempt to groom young women and men. This is why extra care needs to be taken with online friendships. Having supervised video calls ensures online safety. Other precautionary measures involve not sharing personal information like full names and addresses with a stranger online. Today is also commemorated as World AG Expo Day. It's an exhibition that takes place in February every year, starting on second Tuesday of the month. That is this year from February 13th to 15th. It is considered to be the largest annual outdoor agricultural exposition. It hosts more than 1,450 exhibitors. There is an attendance of over 1 lakh visitors each year. The World AG Expo is held at the International Agri Center in Tulare, California. The US Department of Commerce officially designated it an affiliate of the Foreign Buyer Program. This helps encourage the export of American made goods. The event was formerly known as California Farm Equipment Show, an international exposition. Today is also commemorated as Fashnach Day. As a tradition, Germans indulge in delicious donut pastries before the Lenten fast, a period of fasting observed by the Catholics and Protestants. This practice gave rise to the name Fastnacht, which means the night before the Lent begins. These pastries are prepared in three different ways. Although they are similar to regular donuts, their preparation method makes them less sweet. Fastnacht cannot be also spelt in many ways, including fastnatched, facetnatched, and fashnatched. So, whichever way you'd like to pronounce. So, with this, we end today's commemorations. Before closing, let's watch a short video. Feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before leaving the platform.
We're called Gen Z, obsessed with the online world but not lost to the real world. We like, share, react, and comment. Let me like on this. Since the 90s, over 100 million HIV infections stopped and blocked by condoms. I'll share this. If every guy, every time, rocked condoms right, 98% fewer unplanned baby bumps in the night. Thanks, condoms. Now how's this stat? 1 million people today will roll the dice on STIs, so put the odds in your favor. Here's a comment from all of us. We're the generation of safe lovers that know wrapping it up makes it extra sweet. Sex with the condom is pleasure with peace of mind. We choose no judgment, love with responsibility, and respect for all. We understand the assignment to make condoms our viral trend. Let's keep it slick in the streets and safe in the sheets. Choose it, use it, consent to it. Condoms, still the only method to prevent HIV, other STIs, and unintended pregnancy in one. Now that's pleasure of mind.
And finally, the last commemoration for the day. Today is Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Week, starting from February 13 to 19. celebrated across the country in US. This week is set aside to raise awareness about Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a severe form of muscular dystrophy caused by a genetic defect. People suffering from the condition experiencing weakening of their skeletal muscles that break down over time, resulting in them being unable to stand up or move around. Despite being in the most common type of muscular dystrophy, there is insufficient awareness among the general public about the prevalence of the disease and potential treatments. Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Week was created to address the lack of awareness and support people with this disease. Muscular dystrophies are a group of rare genetic disorders that affect the neuromuscular system. Individuals suffering from these disorders experience progressively weakness and eventual breakdown in the muscular system. These disorders are caused by mutations in genes which produce muscle proteins. They may be inherited from the parents or occur during the developmental stage when the child is a fetus. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, in short known as DMD, in particular is caused by mutation of a gene for the protein dystrophin, and the disorder is named after the protein. DMD causes muscle to break down and die and eventually get replaced by connective tissues and fat. It usually begins in the muscles of the thighs, pelvis, and calves, and eventually works its way up to the shoulders, necks, and arms. The disorder primarily affects men and develops early on. Symptoms like difficulty rising from a prone position and difficulty walking are noticeable around the time of a child becomes 5 years old. The disease has progressed steadily, and the individuals with the disorder are effectively paralyzed from the neck down by the time they are 20. In rare cases, there are manifestations of the disorder that are non-musculoskeletal, in which case the neurological system is the most affected. Charles Bell, a Scottish surgeon, is among the first to identify and describe the breakdown of muscles as muscular dystrophy in the 1830s. The French neurologist Guillaume Deschny gives a comprehensive account of the most severe version of a muscular dystrophy in a medical journal, and the disorder is named after him, DMD, in 1860s. Lewis and the Muscular Dystrophy Association started telecasts that ran annually on Labor Day to raise funds for the muscular dystrophy disorders in 1966. The MD Care Act is signed into law in America, which ensures that the research will be done into muscular dystrophy disorders. The Public Service Act is amended in 2001. While people may live for a few decades, DMD is eventually fatal. If DMD runs in your family, getting genetic counseling before having children can help you understand if your children will develop the disorder. The oldest person with DMD is about 54 years old and lives in the Netherlands. The most important thing to do during this week is to spread information about the disorder, encourage people to get their children tested, and share information about the potential treatments. Funds are essential to continue much needed research in DMD and other muscular disorders. The research helps identify causes for the disorders and treatments, so donate them to them. If you know someone suffering or their caregivers lending a helping hand, make them meet or take some yard work off their hands so that they can have easier week. Like a lot of genetic disorders, there is no cure for DMD. Physical therapy, surgery, assisted ventilation, and gene therapy are some potential treatments to manage symptoms. The average life expectancy for someone with DMD is 26, though some can live into their 30s or 40s with care. The disorder is so rare in girls that it occurs only in about 1 in 50 lakhs female births. The disorder is X-linked recessive, which means that in cases where the disorder is inherited from parents, the mother is the carrier of the mutation. Women carry the gene. Some studies have shown that the gene therapy improves muscle strength in children, but there are no conclusions about the long-term effects. A genetic disorder that destroys the muscle sounds really scary. We feel for those who are suffering, and we want to make sure that more people know about this disorder and its treatment. There isn't a lot we can do if we aren't searching for the disorder directly, but we want to help in any way we can, from raising awareness and funds to helping out our neighbors. We think that raising awareness is a great way of supporting researchers. Research helps ease the lives of people with the disorder by identifying treatments, and we hope someday they will also find a cure. So, with this, we shall end the commemorations today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. See you all tomorrow, at the same time with the same link. Take care. Good night.